Good afternoon. I hope you enjoyed your coffee and snack. So it is with my great pleasure to introduce our next icon and outlaw, Sean Saylor. Sean is a vice president and creative director for MTV International. So he's responsible for the voice and the brand of MTV International outside of the United States, which I think is a really interesting job when you think about the idea of, it's rooted in this kind of notion or this idea of, evolve or die, where MTV is constantly looked at, as a beacon for what's next and for what's new. I'm also honored to say that Sean is a client of mine, and it is, as I have opportunities to work with clients such as Sean, that's what allows me to be a fearless thinker and for me to take risk and to think differently on a daily basis. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to Sean Saylor.
Hello, hello, hello. Hi everyone, thank you Deanna for the introduction. Yep, I need that. And thank you guys for having me. Just to start, I was backstage and I was doing that, and I was talking to David. Where's David at? I don't know if are you here, David? There you are. And I said, I appreciate the fact that you said that you were nervous, because I'm nervous too. And the fact that this is a conference about risk, I think, that it's important to talk about these things as we evolve. I remember his question about who took risks today, and I was sitting right there, David. You probably didn't see me, I had my hand like that. But instead I'm like, I'm taking risks today. I'm doing this. When I thought about when Deanna invited me to do this, it was a month ago, and she said, do you want to do this? I'm like, yeah, sure, fine, I'll do it. And then, as the day gets closer, you get more nervous. You go I maybe should go home and just stay with my family and not do this. Do I really need to do this? I don't need to do this. And then as you sit here and you see all these great presentations, you go oh, mine's gonna suck, and so there's risk that every presenter today has taken in stepping on this stage, and I just wanted to acknowledge that because I had to introduce myself with something. Another thing, Molly, I don't know if Molly's here, but she said, I'm not checking my emails, don't worry. Molly said, you should try something different, or her dad told her you should try something different all the time. And I like that, and I really try to do that actually myself, because the brand, and I'll talk about that for a second. But if you don't mind, I'm gonna take a picture of myself and send it to my mom. So she's proud of me, what I've accomplished. So for those of you in the back, if you don't mind, I'm gonna take a picture of myself. That looks a little empty, so let me look for a place that goes, oh my God, my son. So let me, I need more, do you guys mind moving, or is it too much to ask? Maybe this group right here, I think I can take a picture right here. I mean, I could be at a movie theater. I mean, it's not, All right, that goes to mom, so that's that, this is this. So, I need to talk about this. So, evolve, I'm gonna talk about MTV, how we do things, how we, what a process is, and then I'm gonna talk about a specific project. Now, I know that evolve or die just sounds so aggressive, evolve or die, oh my God. And I think I'm probably the only one that's gonna use emojis in the presentation, so yay. I had two, I didn't know which one to pick. I don't know which one you like. Skull? The skull's cooler, but this one says more death, so it was a hard pick. What am I doing? Okay, so the truth is that, I talk about death, but really what I'm talking about is becoming irrelevant. And I thought, the reason I didn't use the word irrelevant is because I'm a foreigner, and irrelevant is such a complex word, irrelevant. It just doesn't flow properly from your mouth. But irrelevance is death, just a slower and more painful one. So I think it's important because I come from a different industry that you guys are in. I'm in the world of content or television, and I need to give you some context for you to understand why we make decisions, and so it's just not a bunch of gibberish or what is this guy talking about? So, context. This slide is about what we are as MTV. We're a huge brand. I mean, we're such a pop culture icon. We're in 160 territories. This is MTV International. I only do MTV International. In almost 500 million households. So I show this slide not to say like, I work for this company, look at me. It's because when we make decisions, it really, like this is the scale of impact that we have. Like what we do really affects all these countries and all these people that we work with and all the audience that it's consuming our product around the world. So going back to evolution. Evolution to me equals change. Change equals risk. Because we're stepping into the unknown. We're doing things for the first time, so there is risk to that. And why? Why do we evolve? You know, why does MTV always have to change? Why can't we just stick to doing music videos and call it a day? And the reality is, I can give you the PC answer of, you know, we're here to give our youth culture, and you know, I could give you the bullshit answer, but I'm not. The reality is, we have no choice. We really have no choice. We have to evolve. We're a youth entertainment brand. That means that our audience comes into our brand when they're teenagers or when their parents allow them to come in, and then they step right out when they turn 20-something. So, David, I'm going to take from your slides, show of hands. I like that, so I like that we're in sync, although we don't know each other. How many people used to watch MTV? Show of hands. It should be pretty much everyone, but not everyone, but yeah. So, how many people watch MTV now? 3, 4 maybe. And I'm not judging. Trust me, I don't watch the channel. I'm 42, so, you know, I mean, I have to watch it, you know. I love my brand. But so there's that. There's the audience, goes right through us. So they're always changing, and we need to address that. Second is, our currency is time. We compete for people's time. So, like I like to say it, we compete with Game of Thrones as much as we compete with people riding a bike. It is about people's time. It's like, how do we pull them in from whatever it is they're doing? And taking that into consideration in terms of time, we have to look at media evolution. So how has media evolved in the last years, even since MTV was introduced in 1981? So I'm going to go a little bit forward into 1999, and you have Napster comes in, disrupts the music industry. 2005, YouTube comes in and disrupts the short video content. So music videos suddenly live on YouTube. 2006, Facebook comes in and disrupts, you know, with people's time. I mean, they didn't do that much video in 2006, but everyone was on social media and on Facebook. 2007, the iPhone, you know, content is now mobile. So, you know, people's time is everywhere. And lastly, Snapchat, 2012, you know, doing short form disposable content. And that, you know, again, someone who's very disruptive to the content field. So, giving those two things, one of the topics that internally that we have to address is culture. Because if we want to be a brand that constantly evolves, it needs to be very, very present in everything that we do. So, not too long ago, we had this mission statement change, and we decided that MTV International, from now on, its mission statement is to kill boring. And what does kill boring mean? So for us, it was making things differently, being unique, making it creative, so bring ideas to the table, making it young, need to connect with a younger audience and with our youth, make it real. It needs to be honest. I mean, our audience is so informed that, you know, they smell bullshit a mile away. I'm going to drink water because when I get nervous, my mouth gets dry. That's better. Anyway, so making it real, you know, make sure that we're authentic, that we say the things the way things are, and make it fun. At the end of the day, we're an entertainment channel, so, you know, we're not here to save the world. We're here to entertain. So we have to make sure that we entertain people and that things are fun. When I look at the brand evolution, so at an MTV International, there's some things that happen. Again, I'm just giving you a lot of context for you to understand the project that I'm going to present. In 2006, MTV had many offices around the world. There was more than that. The logos don't really fit. And I wasn't really sure what country was which because the map is all blue. So I just placed logos randomly what I thought there might be a country. So we had many different offices. People, did with MTV whatever they wanted. They had their own content, they had their own look and feel. And in 2006, there was a business decision to align all channels. Say, you know what? The world is being globalized, with social media and whatnot, that we need to globalize, we need to change our business. Okay, fine. So we changed our business, and then we look like this. So we had 5 offices around the world that controlled the rest of the offices. And with that, we said, okay, now we have to talk to them and have one look and feel. So the way that the channel speaks to the audience and the way it looks is just gonna be one. We're not gonna have all these random designs from all over the world. So what I'm gonna show you is a tape from 2013 that describes the brand at that point, what we were doing, and what it looked like mostly from a design point of view. And then I'm gonna show you another tape. And I don't know who I'm talking to, but in terms of lights, because this is like a 2-minute tape, if the lights could come down, I'll just play the tape.
Since our first international rebrand in 2009, both television and the digital media landscape have gone through some significant changes. In an increasing number of countries, broadcast has shifted from analog to digital terrestrial, and at the same time is increasingly intertwined with social media. Flat screen technology has also become the standard output in a majority of our territories, with an increasing number of 16:9 and HD channels. For these reasons, an updated set of on-screen and off-air assets have been developed to help our brand speak with an even more vibrant, fun, and louder tone of voice. Welcome to the 2013 brand refresh. Refresh does not mean rebrand. The existing colors, fonts, and general graphic elements have been updated to improve legibility and introduce new features within the look and feel. What used to be one of our secondary fonts has now become our main house font. Futura MTV embodies the contemporary, pop, and bold spirit of MTV's new brand brief and brings consistency to every brand expression, be it on-screen or off-air. Reorganizing the on-screen information has freed space for elevators and other continuity elements across the channel flow. And a simplified graphics architecture brings social media to the center of our look and feel. The promo toolkit has also been updated, with a fresh set of graphic elements, embracing all on-air and off-air promotion, including print and digital. With this refresh, our brand is designed to reflect our values, direct our tone of voice, and more importantly, engage our audience, today's youth. Wherever we venture together. Our mission continues.
So that's 2013. I don't know, you guys might look at that and go like, oh, that's good, I like that, I like the design, it seems interesting. Very functional, of course, but there was a specific need, to have all the channels look like that across the markets. It was very functional. Design, in some cases, I see design as sometimes needs to be functional, sometimes it's artistic, but that's another conversation. But the one thing is that a year later, we sat down, we looked at our channel, and we said, okay, let's analyze that with how our audience communicates. And we saw this, something that was extremely lo-fi. It was, sort of DIY. It was extremely visual. And we were so far from that. I mean, what I showed you to this has absolutely no point of reference. Our channel could be Fox, it didn't bring that extra value. So how do we get here? So before I tell you how do we get to the rebrand, I'm gonna show you what we did. So you can see the before and after a little bit better, and then I'm just gonna go back and tell you the process of how we actually got there, okay? So can we do lights again? All right. Okay, here we go.
When we launched in 1981, MTV redefined what a brand could mean in someone's life. Yep. Our viewers wanted MTV in a way no other network had ever been wanted before. Fast forward 34 years. What did our viewers truly want now? They no longer want MTV. They are MTV. We decided to connect the internet to the TV, creating MTV Bump, a groundbreaking responsive web-based platform currently made up of 2 modules. The first tool available at launch, Uploader, allows users to submit their Vines and Instagram videos for on-air play. By using a hashtag, a user's submission can go from the web to on air almost instantly. The second module, MTV Canvas, is an online toolkit filled with a wide variety of backgrounds, invaders, GIFs, images, and music, which our viewers access can mix and match to build their own animated bumpers. MTV Bump is an ever-evolving platform. We will continuously launch new tools for our audience that allow them to create content and get it on MTV. A small step for the internet, one giant leap for TV. But what about the look? We threw out the typical style guide and its limits of brand expression. Instead, we created a flexible MTV identity by defining a rich and vibrant visual landscape, inspired by digital expressions, which is constantly populated with all kinds of assets. While our audience is constantly cooking up new ideas for our air, MTV has also invited up-and-coming artists to create their own interpretations of the brand. We acknowledge their work on air by crediting their pieces. We make all of MTV open for manipulation, interpretation, and expression from these artists, including the iconic MTV logo, allowing the artists to truly own their MTV. We handed over the keys of MTV to our audience and helped them turn it by giving them brand new technology to make and share. We amplified their voices and took their content from their feeds to a global broadcast network available in more than 500 million households in more than 160 countries. And while other networks continue to race and catch up and keep up with their viewers, MTV will be rebranding itself every day. It's the viewers' MTV. It's the artist's MTV, which makes it our MTV once again, a living, breathing, relevant brand.
I'm shaking a little bit because I'm just like, this is so awesome.
I love Justin Bieber. I do. Look, I'm in a new wardrobe. Anyway, so, you know those jokes that you think they're gonna go better? I'm like taking off my sweater and I'm like, I'm gonna kill it. And then I prove it with a better joke. So how do we get here? I mean, like anything, this case as a creative team, we got a brief from marketing. And marketing tells us we need to do an image campaign that reflects our new mission statement that MTV is a kill boring brand. Okay, all right, fine. We'll take it on. So we decided to go in two directions. We said, okay, let's just pitch a bunch of agencies. Let's send that brief. Let's create the brief, send it out to them. And then I want to do an experiment, because if I really want to take on the kill boring approach and be different and unique and creative and whatnot, I want to do it a little bit differently. So I told our CMO at that moment, I'm like, can we take on that campaign ourselves? But what I ask is that I invite 4 other people from other regions and markets and teams to put this campaign together ourselves. We'll lock ourselves up in a room and then we'll solve it. I mean, I figured, like, you know, my parents used to say, you and your sister get in that room and you figure out your problems. Until you don't figure them out, you can't come out. So I'm like, you know, that might make sense. So the ACE5, and the reason why I call it the ACE5 is there was 5 people. It was myself, the head of creative for Buenos Aires, the head of creative for Amsterdam, the head of marketing for all of international, and the head of digital marketing for international as well. And we all stuck in a hotel, in the ACE Hotel here in New York, for 5 days, and we did a lot of drinking. But the idea, I mean, we went through the process. I mean, one thing that we did is we sat there and we went through the creative process like any other campaign. So we sat there, we threw a bunch of ideas, we put all the stickies in the wall, like all these ideas, and discussed them. Which ones did we like more? Which ones did we like less? That was day 1. And then what happened at night was we go out for dinner, or we go out, and we'd have some cultural, what do you call it, field trips, if you will. So we go out and then we started drinking, and then we started getting very honest with each other. And the honesty wasn't about what we thought about the ideas. What do we think about MTV? What do we think about the brand? What do we love about it? What do we hate about it? I've been working at MTV for 16 years, and let me tell you, I love my job. It's like, and we're all very passionate about the brand. So in those conversations, a lot of truth came out. But aside from truth, there was a lot of trust. Suddenly, you're drunk and you're saying stupid shit, and people are like, oh, and then the next day, you're forced to see those people locked in a room one day, and it's not like, last night was, you're like, we were drunk, and that's cool. I mean, I don't mean it cool like we're drunk. It's like, it's okay. And then again, I don't mean, like, I don't want to talk about alcohol as in I'm trying to be rock and roll. It's just a reality that you let loose, and in those cases, it really did build a lot of trust. So we had 4 days of that. At the end of 4 days, and we went through the process of cleaning out ideas, we really had nothing. I mean, so much for the drinking. And we were like, crap, and the night before, we got really drunk, and I had a massive hangover, and I'm like, oh, crap, I'm not, whatever. We had a good couple of days in this hotel. But in one of the exercises, one thing that we did is we had a manifesto from the president of MTV from back in the 80s. And someone read it out loud. It's a 9-page document. And it's this sort of love letter to the brand. And that inspired us. And, one thing we said is, you know what? We need to change everything. The problem that we're trying to solve the wrong issue. We're trying to do an image campaign. We don't have to do an image campaign. That's not going to solve our problem. Our audience is too smart to know that if we tell them MTV is extremely cool, they're going to go like, can't tell me that. I know what MTV is. I watch your shows. So, we had to show them what we were. And in that case, we said, okay, let's change everything. So with the ideas that we already had, instead of focusing on one, we said, okay, let's put them together. What do we have here that can really make a big change? At that moment, we really didn't have a sort of like a tagline, or we couldn't wrap around it some way. We said, okay, maybe we can call it online on air. The idea is called online on air, which is we take the visuals of the internet and then we apply them to broadcast design. All right, but as we work with PR, very smart PR, we went from I Want My MTV, which we molded to I Am My MTV. I shouldn't be telling you this. Supposedly, it's like we went through that process. There was no PR involved. And what does I Am My MTV mean? And when we went through the creative process, it meant looking like no other TV channel, is allowing our audience to have an active role on the channel. So we added a lot of user-generated content, creating a context for them to have fun in. Like, I mean, you wanted to have a space for them. MTV, we're a youth channel. We need to have the space for them to have fun. Keep the message short and bite-sized. Like, we talk to you, they have no attention span. It's like, the show's about this, and then move on. Like, I'm not gonna bore you with all this information. Toning down the corporate talk. Again, you can't sell them crap. Being super visual. They're a very visual audience. Trying not too hard to sell. Like, just keep it low. Taking risk and embracing failure. Like, let's just try things out. Let's see what works. Let's put things out there. And let's be more honest and not take ourselves too seriously. One word I hate about an adjective that describes MTV is cool. And I hate the word cool because it just talks about trying too hard. You are what you are, you like it or not, and let's just be. But if once you say like, let's be cool, like it just takes you to another place. So I just want to point that out. Okay, so we did all of this in this room, and they were like, okay, now we have to sell it. Because we were asked to do one thing, and we're going to come back with something completely different. So, and everyone was super excited, so how do we do this? How do we really sell this? And it really was about the presentation. What did we do? How did we present this to the executives? Again, we were talking about changing a complete channel in 160 territories and 500 million households. So that's like a major task. So people, the executives tend to be a little bit risk averse. So we put together what I like to call a mood reel, which is like, look guys, I went through the whole, description of that night and what we did, and that, they liked that story. We told them about the, I Am My MTV, and I Want My MTV, I Want My MTV. But then we put together a piece that really reflected what we wanted to do. So it's like, here you go. This is what the channel would look like if you approve this. So we did this tape that never saw light of day. I mean, just executives saw it, and now I'll show it to you. This is what we thought MTV should look like after that 4 days at at that hotel. So lights.
The Geordies are back in the tune. Wicked.
We are doing what we do best.
Have you missed me?
We need some more testosterone, and I'm bringing my mate in. I don't do relationships.
To go.
I was not expecting this.
Get low when the whistle go.
Viagra popping every single record. Auto tuning, zero emotion, muted emotion. Viagra popping every single record. Auto tuning, zero emotion, muted emotion.
The woman you think is your mother is not your mother. She's your kidnapper. Your real parents are here.
My name is Carter, and I want to know the truth.
So you have this weird kid who wants to be on stage more than anything. I felt like that was my purpose. That was my calling. Ow.
You're gay.
Excuse me? They think we're lesbians. It's ridiculous. I'm not gay. Maybe we should see how this plays out. I'm not gay. I'm not gay. We just sell it. Cause the players gonna play, and the haters gonna hate.
So we put that together in about 2 weeks. I mean, and we have a creative team that rolled this out really quickly. And when we showed like this to the executives, these 3 minutes, they're like, I'm not sure what that was, but I want that. So this tape really made a difference, and we know that. And we say it all the time. Like and every time we try to do the same thing again. Like, let's go to a hotel, let's get drunk, let's do a tape. That's a formula. But the problem is, again, we always have to make it different. Like, forget about that. We did that. It worked. Great. We move on to the next thing. The one thing is, just quickly from a design point of view, I mean, we're focusing a lot on trends. So you see that, from over a year, and you're like, we'll be responsible for people's epilepsy, So we have to change, and we have to make sure that we're able to adjust visually. So, which is extremely hard. Like now, our mission is to change the way we look 3 times every 2 years. And that's a lot. And again, just going through the process of looking at new ways of communicating with the audience, I mean, that's what we need to do, but it is very challenging. Right now, we're working on something that we call MTV OS, which is the voice of the brand. I'll just show you a quick slide of that because I ran out of time. I have no one saying like, do I have to stop? Can I just keep going? But I'll just talk to you about learnings. So, I mean, we got a lot of stuff right. one of the things was culture. Like we changed a lot of things culturally inside the company. People were suddenly excited about the brand. They're like, oh my God, you know, it's not that we lost our creativity, but we lost it a little bit. So, you know, this sort of really helped us get people back into the creative mindset, into doing things differently, into changing the way that they approach any project. I mean, when Diana came to me, you know, when we were working on the hotel project, it's like, what is an MTV hotel? And the first thing you say, oh, you know, maybe something retro, like 80s, you know, we'll go back to the music video era and we'll make it themed. No, it shouldn't be that. If MTV were a hotel, what would that be? And I think that there's something extremely interesting and challenging about that. The reality is, no one likes change. So we had to implement this around the world. So we had to go and do our, what do you call it, dog and pony show? Is that what you call it? Yeah. So we did that in our markets, and we showed the presentation, and we got people excited. But at the end of the day, it's a huge change. I mean, they had to change the way they work. The way that I see it in terms of learnings is, suddenly you had a caged animal, because, you know, they were working under a style guide. They couldn't do much more. The creativity was, you know, to some extent what they could do. And then you open it up and you go like, you're free. Go be creative. And they don't go much more than a couple of steps out, you know? So that learning process of like, okay, we want it to be very creative around the world. Okay, it takes time. And it takes, you know, us to really be on top of these markets and working with them together and showing them the way and doing exercises and whatnot. So it took a lot longer than we thought. I should close with something really smart, but I don't think I have anything, so that's it.